All right, little food for thought. It's President's Day, right? There is no real customary greeting for it. You know, like Happy President's Day. I guess that's what you say, right? I think that the greeting, at least this year, should be President's Day. Think about it. Why? Well, most years, let's be honest, there's no real reason for President's Day beyond the 3-day weekend and maybe a decent sale or two, right? Now, I'm not disrespecting the presidents. I'm just saying we don't really focus on that aspect. Do you? Do you even know the history? Well, if there were a time to focus on it, about what it means to lead this place and why we celebrate certain people and values, this is the time. Because what America has demanded in a president in the past is not what we're demanding today. President's Day passed it in 1879. Why? Because even those years after the Civil War ended, they were still trying to develop ways to knit us together, finding national holidays that had an eye toward occasions to knit North and South. It was still a chore, even years after the Civil War. A senator from Arkansas proposed Washington's birthday. Why? Washington's a layup. Even though he had died some 80 years earlier, he was still a revered figure. There's only one first, right? And in fact, for a long time after that, until his birthday celebration, right? This was a commemoration for him every year. Eventually, it morphed into him and Lincoln, and then him and other presidents, and different states call out different presidents for different reasons. But before that happened, where it became about more and then eventually nothing, I would argue, there was actually a tradition of reading Washington's farewell address on this day. Now, I'm not going to do that. But it was a reminder for everybody of the goals of this grand experiment. And there is some wisdom in that farewell address that applies to today almost in frightening fashion, okay? Now, we're looking at Biden versus Trump 2, right? And for all the talk about their age, I don't think that's the elephant in the room. I'm sure this country is filled with a lot of great men and women who are capable of amazing leadership in their late 70s or even early 80s. I'm sure of it. I've met them. These two just aren't among them, perhaps. At least that's how more than 2 out of 3 of you seem to feel about it by rejecting both. But the problem is not merely these men, nor their age, nor just the obvious that the time for these two to lead us has passed. The problem is the reason we are likely stuck with this pairing, and that's the party system. That is what is forcing them on us, not them. They can't do it themselves. It's the party system whose time has really come, not Biden and Trump. I wish them the best. It's the system that I think needs to be damned. And it is a fate that none other than Washington foresaw in that farewell address. Actually took the time to have a description and a prescription and a warning of exactly the situation we find ourselves in today in his farewell address, which, by the way, borrowed from 2 of the greatest minds in our country's history, Alexander Hamilton and James Madison. Listen to this part. However, political parties may now and then answer popular ends. They are likely in the course of time and things to become potent engines by which cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to usurp for themselves the reins of government, destroying afterwards the very engines that have lifted them to unjust dominion. Holy cow. Is that not spot on? Fancy speak, purple prose, maybe. But the principles are spot on to what has happened. Remember, parties, not in the Constitution, not animals or creatures of federal law. They are tradition. That was a reckoning of the Supreme Court in the 1970s. They have no place except the place you and I decide to give them. Washington concluded Be a nation. That is all. And do we do anything less than that? Because, in large part, of the party system. Again, it wasn't just Washington. Madison, Hamilton, Lyndon Baines Johnson wanted people in the 60s to use this time to visit places like Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Who's on Mount Rushmore? Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt. Odd group to put together? They all, each wrote, spoke this same idea, this same truth. Now, I'm not saying that's why they're put on Mount Rushmore. There's a whole explanation of why they were chosen. Read it for yourself. But what an irony, right? That each of these four guys are great leaders, so big we carve them in stone for all to see for all time. Each and all said, avoid the party system, especially the two-party system, that it will eventually become just about them. Look at us now. Congress spending more time investigating opponents than investing in our collective problems. And yeah, I see it on both sides. And no, it does not matter ultimately that one side is worse than the other. And here's why. To my brothers and sisters on the left that like to treat me like a piñata, I understand. Swing away. But think about it. The fact that the right, in your estimation, may be more exaggerated a perversion because of Trump's grievance movement that has consumed that party. Let's assume you're better. The system that you and they are locked in is still taking us nowhere but down. You cannot get the numbers to have a real mandate, and you have to look at why. The reason that the numbers have been shrinking is because the game leads you nowhere but to a zero sum, I win because you lose reality. And if it's all about how I get you to lose, it's going to be increasingly consumed by negativity, because there becomes less and less incentive for me to do anything but make you lose. That's where we are. We are sucked into a system that keeps failing us and resembles no other dynamic in your life unless you're in a toxic, codependent relationship. Nowhere else do you submit to picking the least worse choice. And so easily we get invested in the very process of battling to the bottom. So many get sucked into it. Why? Because it's good and easy to play to advantage, and it can make you rich and popular. Stoking anger is so easy. That's why demagogues have flourished all through history. Why do you think it took such a supreme figure as even a notional Jesus to manifest love? Why do you think it would take the Son of God to make this manifest among men? Because that's how hard it is. That's what kind of devotion it takes. It is so easy to play to advantage and to beat the other side and to battle to the bottom. You may argue it's even human in itself. It's just how we're built. And to work together and to collaborate and to cooperate and to be interdependent and interconnected and all of the resolves and stuff that is almost magical that makes up America is hard. And yes, social media makes it easier to be ugly. And yes, the rest of the media plays into it and often fans the flames and goes with insults over insights and requires negativity and rewards the same all too often. Yes, yes, and yes. But you have to see it in the system, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And we're at a place now where you will excuse the intentional refusal of the men and women you put in power to fix your problems when they tell you they intentionally won't. You will justify criminal behavior and conspicuous neglect of what really matters just to show that the other side is worse. You know, I never think it's fair when Washington and the other founding fathers are judged for, well, they didn't know what it would be like today. Of course they didn't. I would have never imagined what this thing would mean 5 years ago, let alone now. Of course they couldn't see it. Of course it's not reasonable to think that a document is going to be so elastic that it can apply to all time. Of course. People are always a function of their time. That's why it's somewhat silly to now look back at how people were then and decide to make decisions about their character or their principles when they couldn't have known any better. The reason that they are so spot on, while Washington nailed it about the two-party system, do you know why they were able to get it so right? Why I say they because, you know, Madison and Hamilton really helped Washington with this. You can Google it and see. He nailed it in the farewell address for a very simple reason. Where we are right now is the only place that a two-party system has ever led. It is the only place that any binary system that is necessarily zero-sum can lead. One can only win because the other loses. Where are you going to go? How are you going to get closer to the sublime than the slime when that is what it's about, is watching the other guy lose any way possible? There is no natural incentive for cooperation. Of course, they're going to start hating people that want to work with the other side. The whole point is for them to look bad. So over time, this system was always and only going to lead down, no matter how flat nor steep the curve. Have men like Trump and others on both sides of the aisle hastened the descent? Of course. Of course they have. Has social media turbocharged it? Perhaps. Does the media overall contribute to it? Sure. But it doesn't change the fact that we're still setting ourselves up for failure by continuing to exist within the same system. And if you're going to look at a day like today, and I know it's a 3-day weekend. In truth, that's not true. I actually forgot it was this weekend. Whatever. That's my problem. If you want to take it seriously just for a moment, you can't believe in honoring leaders in a place where leadership is not rewarded unless it leads to the demise of another side that is a completely artificial division. There is no business in this country of people being divided by something as meaningless as a party. You guys can't even describe what your parties are about anymore, except the mutually assured destruction of the other side. They stand for nothing but advantage. Imagine if Washington thought when he was president that it was just too hard to be better. Because that's the answer you're going to give me, right? It's the answer I've always had. Well, what else are we going to do? This is the system. What are we going to do? Am I not going to vote? I can't change it myself. What in your life that has ever been worth anything came easy? What challenge in your life have you ever been able to do anything with by surrendering to the status quo? Imagine if Washington had given that answer and that appraisal when they asked him to lead this place, when so many doubted that anything could happen, that it was just going to get crushed by England or others. Nah, this is too hard. I got to skip it. Let me stick with what I got. Imagine. Nothing great is ever done except in opposition to the norms and status quo. That is the reality. And that is why we are where we are. And I know it as sure as anything I've ever known. So let's look at what is going on around us and try to find a way through as opposed to just looking for advantage. So, hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.